What's going on, guys? Today we've got some EZA'S for the TEQ JANEMBA here in the AGL PAIKUHAN Dual Dokkan Fest, and then we've also got some EZA'S for these side banner units for the STR PAIKUHAN and the Super Kaioken Goku. So we're just going to be taking a look through all the kits here, seeing if there's anything juicy. I am actually probably most excited for this JANEMBA here. He has pretty much always been in a good extreme class option, and even to this day is still somewhat decently runnable if you're able to get his entire passive activated. So a bit of like an RNG nightmare, kind of not the most reliable unit to use. So hopefully they fix some of that stuff in his kit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So we're going to go ahead and start with this kit, just because this is the one that I'm looking forward to the most here. So hopefully we've got some good stuff. Okay, so off the bat, that is a really good thing, right? They have increased the leader skill by 10%, so now we have a 180% corroded body and mind leader, and for one of the weakest categories in the game, historically, I guess in recent times that isn't quite as true, just because of some of the really strong, like, JANEMBA buffs and Goku Black buffs and stuff that we've gotten. Having the 180 lead is going to be really nice for that. And then I suppose having the extreme class 130% is kind of cool too, mainly for like Ultimate Clash, right? This might be a viable unit to be using as a leader in there, potentially. Okay, let's see here. So his passive, he's got 180% stats in base, permanent guard, which I believe he had before. Okay, so then he just gets straight up, gets 50% damage reduction, and then he's giving 30% support to extreme class allies. Okay, so he used to need to get all of the orbs selected. He needed 4 type key spheres to give the support to typings, or to extreme class allies, and then he needed 2 rainbow key spheres in order to earn, I think it was 30% damage reduction. So now he's got like all of that just in base, which is really good. And then, okay, it looks like he still has the same deal here, but they did drop it down, so where it's only 3 type key spheres and 1 rainbow key sphere. That's going to be super helpful. I can't tell you how many times, like, it is so difficult to get, like, 6 orbs total without being an orb changer yourself or having an orb changer next to you, right? And like on a lot of his teams, that was a really hard thing to come by. So this is going to be much more viable. The PAIKUHAN pre-EZA had this deal where you needed 3 type key spheres or 1 rainbow key sphere, and it's a lot more easy to get than 4 type key spheres and 2 rainbows. So that's good news here. So for the 3 type key spheres, he's getting corroded body and mind or uncontrollable power allies, an additional 30% support, and then launches an additional with a 70% chance to super. And then with the 1 rainbow key sphere, he's getting 150% defense and 30% damage reduction on top. Wow. Okay, he's gonna be pretty good. That is what I was hoping to see with him. Like, I mean, as long as you get the 1, because like this part of his kit isn't super useful. I guess we're gonna have to wait to see what his super attack effect is to know if this additional is gonna be like really useful for him. But what it's seeming like so far is as long as you get 1 rainbow key sphere, he's gonna be at 80% damage reduction with guard. Like, that's so nasty. Yeah, he is probably going to be pretty defensively viable, I would imagine. Okay, for every attack received, he's getting 20% attack up to 100, and then damage reduction minus 5%. Ooh, up to minus 50. So once he gets hit 10 times, he can actually lose all of that base damage reduction that he has, and would only have the 30% from the 1 rainbow key sphere. Interesting. Okay, well, that's not that great. I guess you're going to want to go with a full dodge build for him, because ideally you don't want that to roll off, right? But I guess it makes sense, because he can so easily get 80% damage reduction if they just have him have that for free in any slot, right? Because we've seen a couple of other units that have this kind of thing, like the physical full power Frieza, the AGL full power Frieza, the TEQ Giant Ape Vegeta. These are units that have like a bunch of damage reduction in base, and then they get a bunch more with some conditional thing in their passive. I think for all 3 of those units, it's actually being in slot 1 gives them the extra bit. And this guy doesn't have that. He can get it in any slot, and the 1 rainbow key sphere is a pretty easy condition, right? So I guess it makes sense that they give him this kind of contingency. I think that they have just learned from their mistake of like what they done with some of those golden Frieza cards in the past. And if they just give them permanent, you know, 80, 85, 90% damage reduction, then like those units are just going to be the best defensive units in the game for years and years to come. So I think this is kind of their way of avoiding that, right? Or at least making it so that he's going to be really good in short form content, but then obviously, like, you know, you take him into like festival battles or something, this is eventually going to roll off, and then he won't have enough defensive viability to keep up with the power of the event. So yeah, I could see that being a thing, but I don't know. I wonder how many turns you could actually get before you're getting hit more than like 5 or 6 times. I suppose if you're running him as your leader and your friend leader, and then you have him as an off-rotation unit and he's 3rd slot, then a lot of the times you could be finishing phases with him in slot 3, so he wouldn't have to take any attacks on that turn. But then obviously if he's not tanking attacks, then you're not really taking advantage of the damage reduction that he has. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be kind of interesting playing around with this guy, but I definitely am going to be using him. Probably going to be a return of the Broly team because he is on uncontrollable power, right? Okay, let's see the rest of his kit here. We've got to look at his super attack effect. Where are we at here? Okay, so he is permanently stacking attack and then raising defense for 1 turn. Okay, I guess that's decent. They've given him a little bit more offensive viability here, so that's not the worst thing ever. Interesting. Yeah, interesting to say the least. Okay, and then as far as his transformation condition, after receives an attack 5 or more times in battle, is that what it is? Let me pull up the card here so we can double check the old condition. I really hate how they do, let's see, this guy, perfect. Yeah, I really hate how Dokkan posts those on this website. I wish that they would post the EZA details in more of a form like this, where as opposed to giving us the actual screenshots of the card, they would just give us like a bullet point list of the new stuff. Because they don't show off any screenshots of anything that doesn't change, and the active skill conditions never change, so they're never visible on those screenshots. So if you didn't remember what it was offhand, then you have to go look it up. It's kind of annoying. Okay, so yeah, after he receives an attack 5 or more times, then he can transform. I guess that does line up pretty well with the damage reduction falling off. So once the damage reduction has fallen off a lot, you can, you know, flip him into the other form, and then I guess hopefully you won't need it at that point, but we're going to have to see if that's the case. Let's go ahead and take a look at the transformed kit, see how good or bad this one's looking. Okay. So he's got 200% stats in base. He is now, wait, randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to any one type. Oh, okay. So he's just a random key sphere changer. I guess that's somewhat helpful. Just having one less type of key sphere on the board, you're probably going to be able to get more key spheres selected. Oh, and then he's also changing AGL to Rainbow. Okay, yeah, that's really, really good. That's going to be like, yeah, his orb changing is going to be amazing. That's like TEQ, having the type key sphere changing on top of the Rainbow key sphere changing. It's pretty rare that you can't get like 8 or 9 or 13 key spheres with TEQ, so he's probably going to have that same effect. Still holds on to the guard, and now he has a high chance to evade. Okay, and then with 3 or more type key spheres obtained, he's got 100% stats and a guaranteed additional. With the Rainbow key sphere, he gets another 30% chance to dodge. Okay, that's really good. So that's going to put him up to 80% chance to dodge. And then before receiving an attack, he has 30% damage reduction. Okay. 30 isn't that high. Especially if you consider before receiving an attack. Yeah, I mean, he'll have that every turn, and it'll proc, so that's nice, I suppose. But this is really only a... I mean, I guess if you consider that's post-super, like the very first attack that he would take, he would tank it a little bit better. But, like, you know, there's, like, the STR Hercule, that has this ability, but then after he takes an attack, he gets a bunch more dodge, so it makes sense. He's like able to tank one attack, and then he's able to easily dodge the rest of them. It's weird that he just has this for one attack. It's kind of weird. Okay. And then after evading an attack, performs a critical hit temporarily upon the character's next attack. Okay. So that's only gonna proc if he's like gets hit with an AoE or if he's slot 1, I suppose. Which I guess with 80% chance to dodge, you're probably gonna rely on him in slot 1. Which is probably why he has this 30% damage reduction here. Okay, I guess it's not nothing. And he does still have guard too, right? Oh, wow. And then he gets a massive amount of stats. This is multiplicative too. 250% multiplicative stats on super. Yeah, okay, wow. He's probably going to be pretty good. So I know historically it was actually better. Yeah, okay, that does suck. So historically it was actually better to leave him off rotation for or not off rotation, off, like, not transform him and just leave him in base. And this, you know, transformed kit was mostly based around him being able to do extra damage, which he already has some more offensive viability in his base form now anyway. But he does lose the support. That's a really big, like, hurt for him. I feel like maybe the new strategy is going to be to run them on the same, like, run him as the lead and the friend lead, and then transform one of them, and then link them side by side, so that the untransformed one is supporting this one. That's probably going to be the best way to go, but I can't imagine you really want to, like, on most teams where if you're just throwing him on the team and he's on someone else's leader skill, you're probably going to want to leave him untransformed. That support is going to be huge. 60% stats is definitely big, right? So yeah, interesting. But it does seem like this kit is a little bit more powerful, a little bit more viable. Okay, and then for his super attack effect, it looks like he's not infinitely stacking anymore once you get to the transformed portion. So yeah, this is probably going to be one of those things where it's like you get to the last phase of a fight, and then he can help you out with a transformation and just do a lot of damage at the very, very end. But most likely, for the majority of the fight, you're going to want to leave him untransformed still. Yeah, okay, that's just showing off that kit. Okay. Well, interesting. I'm excited for this. This is a Big Bad Boss's character, so this is probably going to be one of the most viable villains in the game at this point now. So that is cool. Let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at PAIKUHAN here. Okay, so Connected Hope 180%, and then the generic Superclass 130%. That's pretty good. I'm not as excited about that as the Corona Body in Mind, but it is decently helpful, I suppose. It's just, you oftentimes don't have to use a Connected Hope leader skill because there's so many other categories that cross over onto that. You know, the main one being Power of Wishes. There's a lot of Power of Wishes cards on Connected Hope, and there's plenty of good Power of Wishes leaders, right? There's also a couple other really good Connected Hope leaders that are like 200% leads for other categories, so... okay, so we've got 200% stats in base, high chance to evade, 30% support. Okay, cool. So the stuff that he was getting from Keysphere selection, he now gets in base the same way as JANEMBA. And then for 7 turns... Oh, I hate these kind of abilities that roll off. Okay, he's got 200% defense and guard. And then with 3 or more type Keyspheres obtained, Otherworld Warriors and Connected Hope get 30% more stats, and he launches an additional with a great chance to super. Okay. And then with 1 Rainbow Keysphere, he gets 4 key. I don't know how necessary that is, but okay. Chance to evade 20%, and seals for 2 turns. Okay, a 2-turn seal is not bad. I guess that's just not going to be relevant in a lot of challenge content. Maybe like Battle Hardened Formidable Foes. There's some like a lot of enemies lack the steel locking and the stun locking and stuff. Okay, so the extra 20% evasion only puts him up to 70% evade. So I guess for the first 7 turns, Okay, for the first 7 turns, he is looking pretty beefy, right? Because he's got the 200% defense here, 200% defense here, the multiplicative 200% defense here, and then the additional 60% from his own support. So 660% with guard. And then his super attack effect. Oh, yeah, he has, like, the unit supers, right? Shoot, let's look at this one first. Okay, so he's greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn. Yeah, and greatly lowering attack. Okay, yeah, he's got some stuff. I mean, with all of that defense with the 70% dodge is not going to be, like, unreliable, right? Okay, so then is it the same exact effect with the unit supers? Interesting. Greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn. Wasn't that the same exact thing he did on this? It is. Oh. Wait, is it showing that this... No, this is just from the normal attack. Am I missing something here? Oh, maybe he has another page. That's what it is. Okay, he's got this too. Oh, okay, so it just adds attacks effective against all types if you have the Angel Goku or Vegeta with him. Is that what it was? Angel Goku or Angel Vegeta? Yeah. Got it. Okay. I'm not as excited about this. I feel like he didn't get as many buffs as the Janemba did. The main reason is because of this. With the guard and stuff falling off after 7 turns, that's probably going to hurt him quite a bit. I imagine he could end up being somewhat of a liability towards the very end of fights. But yeah, we'll have to see once we use him in game. And then his active skill, though, that is another thing. So let's go ahead and pull him up too, just to make sure that there's no extra text there that I'm forgetting about. Okay, let's see. Okay, so from turn 4, when an enemy's HP is 50% or more, and there's only 1 enemy, then he gets the Ghost Usher. So yeah, I guess that is another really powerful part of his kit, right? That is kind of commonly slept on. I feel like a lot of people forget that he has that ability, myself included. But so yeah, that is kind of good. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not like super excited about him. And then his links aren't quite as good as like Janemba's are going to be for whatever teams you're using him on, right? So yeah, okay, I guess we'll take it. We'll take it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these sub EZAs here real quick. Okay, so for STR PAIKUHAN, obviously he's got a nothing leader skill. Okay, so 150% stats, all enemies lower defense by 50%. Okay. Launches an additional with a 50% chance of super. And then for 4 turns, he's got 50% dodge. For every super attack performed, he gets attack and defense 20%. Wait, no, is there no... There's no limit to that? There's no limit to that? Wait. No way. Okay, hold on. And then chance to perform a crit and chance to evade 10% up to 50. Ooh. Okay, that's decent. So you're going to want to go full additional with this guy for sure. Okay, we're going to do some quick like theoretical calculation with this, but let's read through the rest of the kit and see if there's anything else. Okay, so when the target enemy is attack or defense lowered, you get extra attack, okay? Probably not going to be the biggest deal, as this is a side banner unit, so he's probably not going to be hitting, like, super hard or anything. So it's not really necessary that they give him, like, these extra offensive abilities. I'm more, like, interested in the defensive power, right? Okay. And then before receiving an attack within the turn, he's got 50% damage reduction. Okay, not bad, not bad. And while all allies are Otherworld Warriors or tournament participant, he gets 100% stats, chance to perform a crit and damage reduction 20%, and then launches an additional with a great chance of super. Okay, wow. Yeah, that is pretty good. Otherworld Warriors isn't a very widespread category with a lot of good characters, but Tournament Participants absolutely is. So if you're able to use him with Tournament Participants, you know, on the team, that's going to be really, really good. Okay, so turn 1, you start out. He's already got 50% chance to dodge, and then you get the 1 super attack from his normal super, you get the extra super attack here, which is 2, a 3rd super attack here, which is 3, and then the potential for the 4th in the hidden potential system. He's going to have another 40% chance to dodge already, if you manage to get all 4 to proc, right? So easily within 2 turns, he's going to have this fully built up, and then this is just infinite. Like, he can just, I mean, his defensive numbers starting out are really low. I guess he gets the 150, and then he gets the extra 100 here. But yeah, like, adding on the 20 at a time, that's not too bad. I wonder how that's going to look. Honestly, that's kind of funny to think about, like, festival battles. He has infinite stacking right here. It's pretty small, but if he's doing 3 and 4 super attacks per turn, that's not terrible. And I feel like even with this extra dodge falling off his kit, if you're able to get his defense up high enough by the time this falls off from this extra proc here, it might not be the worst. Because he's always going to get 50% damage reduction on the first hit that he takes within the turn. So if you have him as like a 3rd slot floating unit once this falls off, yeah, I don't know. This unit could be kind of interesting. I wonder about him. And then let's peep the super attack effect. Okay, so yeah, raising attack and defense, greatly lowering attack. Not bad. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of like, comparative to the power level of like a Dokkan Fest that got an EZA versus like a banner unit that got an EZA, I'm kind of more impressed with this one. This just seems like more my kind of unit. I really hate the things rolling off, but I feel like the high chance to evade rolling off after 4 turns is not going to hurt this PAIKUHAN as much as the what was it? As much as this 200% defense and guard falling off of this PAIKUHAN is going to hurt him. So yeah, that's just my final take on him. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Super Kaioken Goku, and then we'll finish up here. Alright, so again, nothing leader skill. He's got Ki 4 and 200% stats. It's so weird to me when they give 4 Ki to these TUR characters. He's not going to need any Ki at all, ever. But I guess that's fine. There are worse problems to have, right? He's got 50% chance to dodge in base. Randomly changes int Ki spheres to another type. Okay. When receiving an attack, survives KO attacks once within the turn. Okay, that's really good because there's no like HP restriction or anything on that. For the ones where it's like they'll survive a KO attack when HP is below 40% or something like that, those aren't super reliable. But the fact that it's at any time ever, that means that if there's some type of like countdown super or some type of, you know, like slot 1 super attack that's guaranteed to proc or some crazy thing like that, you can just throw him in the way of it and he's gonna live it. Right, as long as there's no normal attacks after that where he could take any more damage, because you will survive with 1 HP. But as long as it's the last attack you're going to have to take, then he'd be perfectly fine to tank it, so that's good. There are niche scenarios where that could actually be pretty viable. Okay, when HP is 80% or more... Oh, now here's all the HP restricted stuff. Okay, so when HP is 80% or more, he's getting an extra 100% defense, and then when HP is 80% or less, he is changing physical Ki spheres to STR. Okay. When attacking with 12 or more Ki, he gets 100% additional stats and an additional 50% stats when HP is 80% or less. Oh, that's so weird. Why would they put this there? I guess it's because it's conditional with the 12 Ki attack, and it's not just when your HP is that low. Okay. So I guess that's good then. When HP is 80% or less, he's not losing all of the defense, he's only losing 50% of it. That's not too bad. And then with an STR or physical Ki sphere obtained, he launches 2 additional super attacks. Whoa. And that's going to be really easy to do because he's taking away int orbs and changing them to another type. So your chances are 50% that he changes that to physical or STR. And then if your HP happens to be below 50% or 80%, then you're gonna have, well, I guess he's changing physical into STR, so yeah, that's not like super relevant there, but it's going to make it easier for you to get more of those key spheres, which just helps with this next part. For every STR physical key sphere obtained, he gets 40% attack and 10% crit chance. So yeah, he might actually be able to hit decently hard with this, considering this part of the ability. And then with an AGL, TEQ, or INT key sphere obtained, he guards. Okay. And then for every AGL, TEQ, or INT key sphere obtained, he gets 20% stats and 5% evasion. Okay, that's really funky. He has like 2 kits built into one. So, okay, when you're at 100% stats, you're at the start of turn. With 100%, you know, above 80%, I suppose. Then he's going to be getting the additional 100% defense. He's going to be getting the 100% stats on super. The 2 additional super attacks, because, I mean, assumably you're going to be able to save these orbs for him. Just assuming you're able to get these. That's probably not going to be the hardest thing in the world. You get the 2 additional supers, and then 40%. Wait, okay. Well, I guess these aren't really HP restricted. This is just dependent on what kind of key spheres you select. So yeah, I suppose you can either go for the multiple supers with the massive, like, attack and crit power with these key spheres selected, or you can opt to go for these type key spheres selected, give yourself guard instead of the additionals, and then some additional, like, evasion and stuff and defense. So I suppose that's not terrible. Oh yeah, especially because he does have the 50% chance to dodge in base already. So if you're able to get, like, 6 key spheres or something, that's going to put him up to 70% dodge with guard. So that's not too bad. And then what's his super attack effect? That's kind of going to be relevant for that double additional super, right? Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, okay. I forgot that he has the self-sacrifice ability here. So that is actually kind of interesting. Because, let's see. Yeah, if he, okay, so if he gets 1 super attack on his normal super. So you start the turn, watch this. You start the turn with 100% HP. He supers once from the normal super. You selected an STR physical key sphere, so he gets the 2 additional supers. So that's 3. And then he gets the hidden potential system additional. He's going to sacrifice HP 5% 4 times. That's going to take you down to 80%. So then after he launches those 4 super attacks, you'll be down. So he would have already launched these. You're going to be down to 80%. And then he's going to get this part here, I suppose. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that. Weird. Okay, that's, this kit is, like, too funky to, like, even play around with now. I feel like we're just gonna have to use him in game and see if he works out. But yeah, the thing is, like, with that self-sacrificing ability, giving all those extra, that's kind of gimmicky, right? I don't know if that's gonna be, like, ultimately a hurtful thing for him. I guess we'll see. But I do like that he has all this dodge chance on him and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of neat. He reminds me of Catopesla a little bit. Catopesla has, like, you know, the alternate kits based on which turn number you're on and what type of key spheres he's changing, what type of key spheres you're selecting and stuff. But this one is not turn restricted, so it's like a better Catopesla because you have a little bit more decisiveness of what you want to do with his kit, right? So yeah, he could be kind of a fun unit. I think fun is a good way to describe this unit, so that'll be an interesting one. We'll have to see if there's many good places to use him coming up in the future. So, okay, but then, you know, the other part here is that massively raising attack, he probably will be hitting very hard for a banner unit. So yeah, that'll be cool to see. All right, well, that is basically all the information we have for these EZA'S here. Probably should just be another day or 2 before they show up in game. So I am excited to, you know, get these guys farmed up and try them out in game. Should be fun. So for now, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.